morning. Good morning. Thank you for being with us. It's a beautiful Sunday morning here in Abuja. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Good to see you, Charity. And Merry Christmas in advance. Good to also let you guys know, the both of you, that on that Christmas they will be here together. So take your calendar and mark it to know that Christmas is on a Thursday next week. So we will be here. We will be celebrating the Christmas together in Abuja, in Lagos, and in Benin. So I'm pretty sure, Charity, you'll prepare rice and chicken. You will, is it Webi or Korea? Anyhow, you bring down to Benin.
No problem at all.
All right. Joshua, how is the Center of Excellence, Lagos? Talk to us.
Good morning, Lawrence, and of course, my greetings to you, Charity. For us right here in Lagos, we're doing good, and of course, it's the Yuletide season, so much hustle and bustle, last-minute purchasing here and there, traffic situation. It's just the way it is when it comes to such seasons, so we're prepared for it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about last minute shopping, I begin to ask myself some questions. Why do we do this whole rushing kind of shopping? A week to celebration, 2 weeks to celebration. Why don't you just, like, why can't we take this thing as a normal thing? Because someone like me, I see this as a normal day, just a normal day that we will be at work. That's the striking part the more for those of us that are essential services workers who will be at work. So to us, there's really no, in quote, a big deal to it, because while people are at home eating, enjoying, marrying, we are here dishing out information, educating and entertaining them. So to me, I just feel this is the point where I start to ask myself the course of career, the career path I chose in my life. Being a journalist at this point in time. But it's a good one. Why they shop, they should also be careful, because when you go to the market now, you see parents dragging 3, 4, 5 children. Come on, you can leave them at home. Take measurement like our mom did back then in the early 20s. They use broomstick to measure your leg. You know, they take you to the market and buy your shoes and your shirt and all that. But it's a good one. It's the season, so people, those that have the money. Now, one thing about Nigerians I've come to notice, no matter how the economy is, people will always celebrate. That's just it.
Of course, talking about persons who have found themselves in career path, especially when it comes to essential duties, it's always the case when you talk about last minute rush. Like you said, some of us will be on duty on that day, and for those who might have just 1 day break, they use the opportunity to quickly rush the market to get some things for the family and of course have a good time with family. But then, talking about last minute rush, some persons too might be expecting that their remuneration drops as early as they expect, so as to allow them to be able to rush to the market to get stuff. And if it doesn't happen, then you just have to wait for the last minute rush. You've got no choice.
Charity, you are the blessed art thou amongst men. So let's hear from you.
Yes. Talking about Nigerian celebration, I think that is one of the beautiful things about Nigerians, regardless of the struggles Nigerians always find time to celebrate. And it is also one of the things that I must say has disciplined Nigerians, that make Nigerians who they are. And talking about last minute shopping, and you saying that Christmas is just like any other day, for you, yes, you are, I don't know, you're a bachelor, right? So if you do not have an immediate family for now, it's just going to be just another day. Apart from your job, even without the career path and your children, it's not going to be just like any other day. But if you have a family, I tell you, it's not just going to be just another day. People, you definitely have to shop. If you have children, you must shop. Your wife would want something. And last minute shopping most times happens when it is when the money drops. And you know the way it is in this country. So that's why you see this. But right now in Abuja, what I have observed is that people are really traveling already. Even when I was coming to work this morning, I could see people with their bags and packages leaving the nation's capital already. So people are already traveling. Christmas in Abuja is usually empty. People travel to their various states to celebrate Christmas. So Abuja, I guess by this time next week, Abuja, the roads are going to be free, fewer vehicles and fewer human activities on the road. People are already trooping out of the nation's capital.
Absolutely, Charity, because cities like Abuja and Lagos, where is the commercial capital of Nigeria and the administrative capital of Nigeria. That is Abuja now being the administrative and Lagos being the commercial. You have an influx of people, doing businesses, going about their normal activities and all that. But when it comes to Utah season like this, the city becomes so empty, like a drum without a water, because people have to travel to the villages. Like I said, no matter how things may be really are economically, people will always still travel. So I understand that feeling in Abuja and in Lagos, where you can easily, if you're staying in the island, you can go to the mainland and drive in less than 10 minutes or 20 minutes, as the case may be, because the road will be very free, no traffic, no gridlock. But not in cities like where I am right now, because the people over there, they are coming down to this end, sort of. So everywhere is flooded with people. Those in diaspora, they are coming back home to Benin, to meet with families they've not met for years. So here, I think this is the season we won't have more traffic, just like what happened to me this morning on my way to work. Let's not talk about that, though. But it's a good one. But let's get a snippet, Charity, how cost of commodities are. You are a woman, you go to the market, if not on a daily basis, but how are commodities like rice, the condiments for cooking? Just give us a snippet. Let's get to here.
Well, foodstuff in Abuja is, the prices in Abuja actually depends on the location. It depends on where you're buying. If you're going to the bush market, they are a little bit cheaper. But those same products, like when you go to highbrow areas like Wuse, Asokoro, Maitama, you're going to get them more expensive. But generally, the prices of foodstuff in Abuja, I think it has they have reduced a little bit, not too much, a little bit. Talking about rice, this is the season of beans, so beans, the price has reduced. I think a mudu of beans goes for 1,100 for now, as against 2,000 that people were buying in 2 months ago and all of that. And rice, they are in categories, so depending on the kind of rice that you want. But one thing I know is that you can get rice from 1,004, 1,005 to 2,000, up to 3,000 if you are the one who prefers what we call a foreign rice. And as for when you're buying in bags, the last time I heard is that the ones that we were going for 100K have now been reduced to 65,000 naira. So yes, prices of commodity, prices of foodstuff particularly have reduced to a certain level. But it's not the same for other commodities like clothing. This is the season where people buy clothes. So definitely the prices have skyrocketed. They are not like before, especially here in Abuja. Everything in Abuja is always double or triple the price.
Okay, absolutely. I will always advise people, don't go shopping during festive period because you will spend more. That's my personal advice anyway. I shop when is a normal time to shop, so that the money you're supposed to use to buy one during the festive period, you use to buy two or even three when it's not a festive period. But Joshua, I know you also go to the market too, or once in a while, But let's hear from you, how Lagos is. We'll start getting to hear what we have from our various network center on the show this morning.
Lawrence, you seem to be putting me on the spot. Of course, as you know, I'm the wrong person to ask here because there's a madam in the house, my wife, who does the shopping. I rarely go to the market. But of course, I had a conversation with her yesterday when she came back and she was saying things have actually doubled, if not tripled, which of course doesn't come to me as a surprise because I know obviously that when it comes to the festive period, the cost of commodities, say food or other sort of commodities will also double. Specifically speaking, as at yesterday, she was telling me that a derica of rice is about 1,400 and a bag of rice right now is about 65,000 naira. And that might also not be the same in some locations because, of course, as you know, prices vary from location to location. But it's always the case, so it doesn't come to me as a surprise.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, I did not put you on the spot. At least you have something to say. What affects Madam affects Oga, because it is Oga who brings the money and gives to Madam. So you have to know that. That was I had to shoot that to you. So you just, let us know how it is like in Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria. Like we know, people will always tell you things are a bit cheaper over there. Unlike what we have here in Benin, you have a port there, you have borders there, so you guys are close to where everything is coming from. And not close, you are the center of where everything comes from. But when they add logistics from Lagos to Benin, the price might double, in some cases triple. Nigerians with some persons, not all Nigerians anyway, with the greed spirit. But that's that about what the market forces is about Christmas. So let's begin to hear what we have to dish out this morning here in Benin. God willing, by God's grace, we will be joining the Force Public Relations Officer of the Edo State Police Command. Let's look at security of lives and property. We know the whole what follows when festive period like this is coming. People want to make urgent money they did not keep. People want to get into illegal businesses they didn't plan for from January to November or even to mid-December. 1 week to Christmas, everyone wants to, you want to drive a Benz or you want to drive a car, you didn't keep money. So we want to look at securing lives and properties generally, how people should celebrate in the city. So by God's grace, the Force Public Relations Officer of the Edo State Police Command will be joining us on the show. Let's look at securing life and properties amidst security situation in Nigeria. We know how everything has spun out lately about security, kidnapping here and there, but we'll just look at it generally and how people should have this confidence, and those that will be coming, because Benin City is a city where festive period like this, like I said, a lot of people come back to the city, especially those in diaspora. So someone who is coming from diaspora need to have in mind that, oh, my city, my home is safe for me to come celebrate with my family. So that will be a call of discussion by God's grace on the show this morning when the Force Public Relations Officer of the Edo State Police Command joins us on the show. Charity, I will begin with you again as usual. Abuja, what do you have for us from the Center of Unity? Let's not delve into the whole what's happening in NMDPROA and NUPROC. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Well, from our own end here, we are discussing the NLC protest. There was supposed to be a nationwide protest yesterday, organized by the National Labour Congress. But after a meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday, the protest did not hold as it should. In Abuja, the protest held, but it lasted approximately 20 minutes. And then in other states, we also saw there were pockets of that nationwide protest. And basically, the NLC is protesting worsening insecurity in Nigeria, and as well as what we describe as financial insecurity for workers, even though the NLC said it is not just for Nigerian workers, but for every Nigerian. So for now, we are going to be looking at that process. And one particular thing is that the process was supposed to commence at 7:30 a.m., but unfortunately, people did not come back until at about 8:30 or 9 a.m. thereabouts. So these are some of the issues we're going to be taking a good look at, and the fact that the government promised that it's going to do something very urgent to address the security situation in Nigeria. Is this enough for Nigerians to trust the Nigerian government? And is it enough for the NLC to shove the protest? These are some of the issues and questions that we are going to be asking from the Abuja Network Center.
Right, thank you very much for the snippet, Charity. Joshua, let's get also hear from you what will be happening in the Center of Excellence.
All right, for us right here in Lagos, we'll be talking about arms controversy. I mean, the proliferation of arms, given the fact that just recently a member of the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association was arrested by law enforcement agencies, and a rifle was found with him, supposedly, given or issued to him by the Office of the National Security Advisor, the NSA. And this particular arrest, if you must say, has elicited a lot of mixed reactions from Nigerians. Some are asking very germane questions as regards at what point have we gotten to where arms and, of course, roles in the area of security concern of a state have been handed over to non-state actors. Who is responsible, in issuing arms to non-state actors? These are questions Nigerians are asking. What sort of training, do these guys have to hold arms and move around the street without being, at any point defended by the residents of the state? Who is saddled with the responsibility of making sure that the activities are being regulated in order to reduce abuse, especially when you're giving arms to persons who have little or no training or no sort of education whatsoever to be able to move around? These are questions Nigerians are asking. And of course, what Nigerians also want to know is that at what point have we gotten to as a state where security is being handed over to non-state actors? Now, who then governs the nation at the federal levels if non-state, state actors are being given arms to go around the state? So these are some of the questions that I think the Office of the National Security Advisor needs to come up to answer. But of course, for the sake of our conversation this morning, these are some of the issues we'll be looking at from our Lagos Network Center.
Joshua, thank you for that, because that really has been something that is disturbing. Take it or leave it. Because the truth is, for you to get arms, for you to be empowered with arms, you don't need to be poor. Let's tell ourselves the truth. A poor man, when we say poor man, or even an average man, cannot really acquire a good arm, rifled, whether you call it AK-47, whether you call it AK-49, whatever it is, because arms need money for you to purchase. Arms need the backing of the states legally. When I say the state now, that's the country, for you to possess it, because you have to be licensed. So the question will always be, these persons that have it, who licensed it for them? How did they get it? Where did they get the money from? Who is sponsored? Because it becomes a threat, not just to the people, but it becomes a general threat to the states, the Nigerian state at large, where people now wield arms anyhow. Because that's why when people are calling for this whole let's legalize firearms, I ask myself, are we even matured enough? If we legalize firearms, I have arms, you have arms. Then you wake up in the morning and say, something is wrong with you. I pick up my arm, I blow your head off, But that's on a lighter note, though. But this thing should really, really be regulated. A good topic right there. We just hope your guest will do more of justice to it, because we need to put an end to this whole people carrying firearms, even the so-called legally people who has the legal power, like the police and some, the way they even handle it, you're scared, because anything can happen. At the end of the day, they'll tell you it's an accidental discharge. Somebody that is dead cannot come and start defending his or herself, whether it is accidental discharge or not, and all of that. Good one out there. Thank you for that. So in the course of the show, we'll begin to delve into our various conversation from our various network center, Benin, Lagos, and Abuja. But let's take a break. When we return from the break, we'll check the pages of the papers and see what the papers are saying on the show this morning. Stay with us and go nowhere. It's the TMI.
ITV, certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking about. That's what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for ashwebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them or are dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe.
That's what
And these
happens.
women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
The Ekoko masquerades from Ute village, whose cult is connected with Obaeware and his mother, Elere, appear on this occasion to bless the Oba. Ekoko is a ritual masquerade that dances to please the guests and the Oba.
TV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain, which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
All right, welcome back and thank you for joining us on the program still this morning on ITV. Let's look at what the papers are saying this morning. We begin with This Day, where This Day is leading with the ONSA, that is the National Office of the National Security Advisor. We've not provided arms to any social cultural organization. The claim is false. The Office of the National Security Advisor is saying this, that they've not provided arms to any social cultural organization, saying that the claim is false. Above the masthead, Tinubu seeks for the 3.56 trillion budget reset to end multiple spending cycles. Tinubu seeks for the 3.56 trillion budget reset to end multiple spending cycles. To present 2026 budget to National Assembly tomorrow. To present 2026 budget to the National Assembly tomorrow. Edun Bagudu orders to appear before the Senate Committee on Appropriations today. You can find that on page 31 of This Day. Also below that, in sudden turn of events, FG announces resignation of NMDPROA, NUPROC's CEOs. Okay, we know what have been happening in that, in those government agencies, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, and the NUPROC, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Gbenga Komolafe, after the Chief Executive of the Dangote Refinery and Petrochemical Company Limited, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, came out to allege that the NMDPRA boss is paying huge sum of millions of dollars for his children in secondary school in Switzerland. Where did he get the money from? So the twist of event happening right there. And what we've seen as a sudden change, the both of the oil upstream and downstream petroleum authorities have tendered the resignation letter, and the president have so far sent names of new nominees to fill in that position. Let's move now to the next one, the Leadership newspaper, which is leading with Farouk Ahmed. Gbenga Komolafe resigns as downstream and upstream oil regulators chiefs. Farouk Ahmed, Gbenga Komolafe resigns as downstream, upstream oil regulators chiefs. That you can find out on page 4 of the Leadership. Above it is time to heal People's Democratic Party, PDP, says trustees. You can find out in page 23. Indeed, it is time to heal the PDP. Above that, on page 7, reps to address alleged discrepancies between bills passed, gazetted tax laws. Page 4, Akpabio meets U.S. envoy amid Trump's partial travel ban on Nigerians. You know, there's one thing about this country that I love so much. After something has been said, that is where you see our leaders running here and there, hectare-scatter, to look for aid. Okay, so after the Trump ban, that happened yesterday or 2 days ago. So the Senate president, is running to see what they can do, because they know some of these things is going to affect them, take it or leave it. Then above the man's head, or rather below, on page 7, you can also find Customs slams a 3% surcharge on banks over delay of revenue remittance. And down on page 7, workers protest nationwide against insecurity. Yeah, that was what my colleague in Abuja, Charity Tanko, was talking about. That will be their point of conversation in Abuja this morning. Also, page 17, government bans wood allied product exports to curb deforestation. Government bans wood allied products exports to curb deforestation. In page 17, you can find that. On page 20, trader gets life sentence for defiling a 13-year-old child. Good one out there. I don't know why you would just stay either as a man or as a woman, whatever gender you are, because defilement does not have gender. It's not gender-based. A woman can defile a man can defile a woman. Let's put that on track. A male can defile female, female can defile male. So I don't know what you've seen in a 13-year-old child. In some cases, we even hear below that will make you go after a child who is still a minor by law. Even the one that is not a minor by law, the law will tell you the person have to give you a consent to do anything with him or her. Good one there. On page 16, you can also find gunmen kills 12 miners in Plateau. And finally, on page 7, Economic Council raises livestock panel to resolve farmers' herders' crisis. Moving on to the next one, the Nigerian Tribune is leading with reps to probe MOUs, treaties, agreements between Nigeria, foreign companies. You can find that in page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. Reps to probe MOUs, treaties, agreements between Nigeria, foreign companies, page 5. Also says some contracts contained foreign languages. Okay, I think that seems really some of the contracts contain foreign languages, and our official language in Nigeria is English. Okay, so when you now put in something like Chin Chong Ku that you don't know the meaning, so how do you interpret a Chinese language? On page 5, Tinubu to present 2026 budget estimate to NAS, that's the National Assembly, tomorrow. REPS expected to pass the 2026 to 2028 medium-term expenditure framework MTEF and fiscal strategy paper FSP during plenary today. Okay, you can find that on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. On page 4, Power Probe, more than 2 trillion naira required to complete over 100 ongoing projects. Who is saying this? The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, is saying. NSA clarifies counter-terrorism operation in Kwara. You can find that in page 16 of the Nigerian Tribune. Says office not arming socio-political organizations. The NSA is the one talking. Also below, Farouk Komolafe resigns. Tinubu nominates Eyeson Mohammed as CEO for NUPROC and NMDPRA. Farouk Komolafe resigned. Tinubu nominates Eyeson Mohammed as CEOs of NUPROC and NMDPRA. You can find that in page 17. On page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune, are protests for benefit of Nigerians. NLC is the one saying this. They said the protest yesterday is for the benefit of Nigerians. On page 17, suspend new tax regime. Nigerians already overburdened. Opposition tells the federal government. You can find that on page 17 of the Nigerian Tribune. Page 6, analysts fought FG's double 30 trillion revenue shortfall. Flags contradiction in fiscal claims. That's on page 6 on the Nigerian Tribune. On page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune, Ibadan Airport. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, okays commercial flight in Ibadan Airport. Page 2, you will find that of the Nigerian Tribune. And finally, on page 3, my father wasn't ignorant of insults, accusations against his administration. Who is saying this? Halima Buhari, the daughter of the late immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari. All right, let's go on to the next point of call, the Vanguard. Vanguard is leading. Dangote quick. All right, I love this. The headline there, Dangote quick. Farouk falls. Komolafe also quit job as NUPROC. Tinubu nominates successors. 6 Senate approval. Prioritize local refining. Agbakoba orders tells federal government. Agbakoba is the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association. You can find that in page 5 of the Vanguard. Above the masthead on page 8, court bars IGP, MPF, that's the Nigeria Police Force, and the Inspector General of Police from enforcing tinted glass permit policy nationwide. Court bans IGP, MPF from enforcing tinted glass permit policy nationwide. You can find that in page 8 of the Vanguard. Also on page 6, FG confirms release of Nigerian aircraft soldiers after Togo meets Burkina Faso leaders. On page 35 of the Vanguard, Tinubu writes National Assembly seeks approval of 43.56 trillion reenactment budget. And below, it's leading with arrest, prosecute those funding insecurity. Labour is talking. And finally on page 8, why NDIC revoked House sales contract with Senator Bunza, says MD. All right, let's move to the next one and see what the New Telegraph is leading with. The New Telegraph is leading with pipeline vandalism. Load shedding hits Nigerians as NSIO blames drop in gas supply. Pipeline vandalism, load shedding hits Nigeria as NSIO blames drops in gas supply. You can find that in page 2, 7, and 31 of the New Telegraph. Poor funding delaying over 100 power projects. TCN, as the Transmission Company of Nigeria, tells the House of Representatives. Above the masthead is leading. Nigeria's 2025 budget faces credibility test as revenue falls to 10.7 trillion naira. FG to disburse $50 million Women Exporters Fund in the first quarter of 2026. You can find that in page 25. Below and below that, you can find lawmakers claims tax law altered, one of constitutional breach. Also, Dangote versus NMDPRO CEO Farouk Ahmed, NUPROC boss, resigns as Tinubu names replacement. That can be found in page 2, 3, and 4. Now, this will interest you. The very last below the paper there, it says sleep more important for longevity than diet. Sleep is more important for longevity than diet and exercise, study says. You can find that in page 30 of the New Telegraph. Sleep is more important than your food, exercise. So please do well to sleep well, and also don't also forget to eat well. So that's what study is saying. Let's now move to Daily Trust. Daily Trust is leading with tax laws altered. A question. You can find that in page 14. No, page 2. Tax law altered is a question. We'll see section 64, subsection 1 of the New Tax Administration Act 2025 as gazetted. So you grab a copy of the Daily Trust. Also, above the man's head, Tinubu to present 2026 budget to National Assembly tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, the 19th day of December 2025. You can find that on Daily Trust. Also, gunmen kill 12 miners in Plateau. We are not intimidated by attacks on PDP. Benga Hashim declares once against one-party agenda. Okay? Well, we soon know whether you are intimidated or not. 2027 is already around the corner. President replaces NMDPROA, NUPROC bosses after a fallout. Also below that, court stops police from enforcing tinted glass permits. You can find that in page 13. Labor demand improved security, welfare, page 4. Multiple explosion rocks, Auchi. All right, that was the one that happened yesterday here in Edo, yesterday evening, when a tanker went in flames in the Auchi axis of Edo North. And you know what normally happens when a tanker falls on the road? Nigerians are always quick to go and scoop fuel. Over the years, we've been saying this, we've been telling you, we've been giving you all the necessary information. We've been enlightening you on what you should do when a tanker falls. Don't go and scoop fuel. It is highly inflammable. It can ignite. You don't know where the fire comes from. The next thing you hear is boom. Everywhere will just be black. But Nigerians, we never listen. So when a tanker falls, the next thing that comes to their mind, let's go and scoop fuel. The one that happened at Sapele Road axis, I think a month ago, same thing of Sapele Road. We know the bad state of roads in Nigeria. We know our roads are not good. Our roads are in a deplorable state. They are in dilapidated state. They are not in motorable condition. So tankers can easily fall. And these tankers that falls are not empty tankers. They are carrying products. But what happens? We still see Nigerians who, whether it is poverty, whether it is nonchalant attitude, whether it is ignorance, I don't just know what to say. People still go scoop fuel. But yesterday, tragedy struck in Auchi when a trailer carrying products fell on the road. People still went to scoop as usual. And we saw the tragedy that happened. We are saying again and again, we are appealing to you, we are pleading with you, we are begging you with everything you hold to high esteem. When a trailer falls, it's not your responsibility. You are not a fire service official. Don't go close. Allow the people who are saddled with the responsibility to put off the fire to come to the scene and rescue. They want to go and scoop fuel because fuel is selling for 800 naira per liter. You lose your life and 800 or 900, which is more important? Ask yourself that question. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. So we always pray. But that does not also mean we shouldn't do the right thing. the government have their fault. If the roads are motorable, trailers will not be falling, tankers will not be falling. Fix the roads. These are the only thing we're pleading, we're asking. You now look as if on a daily basis we cry on the same issues. Road. Since 1960, the campaign has been road. This is 2025. We're still campaigning with roads. Come on, we need to grow beyond this. Lastly, let's look at the last page of the last paper we have, which is The Guardian, which is leading with tax reform pushes revenue crisis and threatens 2026 fiscal plan. You can find that in page 6. And above the masthead, NMDPRA / Dangote face off, Tinubu picks replacement as Farouk Komolafe resigns. Like, I'll ask a question. Resignation. What happened after they resign? It's not just by them resigning. Yes, it's good to resign because someone has raised an allegation against your office that you are embezzling money. But after you resign, what happens? Is it he will just resign and go home? He should be probed. If he's found wanting, he should go to jail. Simple, the laws are there. So we shouldn't do it my person kind of thing. Okay, because he has resigned, let's end it there. No. He has resigned does not mean we should end it there. He has resigned. Let's probe him. After you probe him, where did you get such money from? I have a statistic of analysis of his monthly salary, a breakdown of what he earns when I was reading through. If you put everything together in a year, it's not up to the money that is alleged by Dangote that he spends on children in secondary school, not in university, in secondary schools in Switzerland. So after resignation, what happened next? Does the guy remains there? Okay, does he go scot-free? Or say, okay, he has resigned, okay, let's forgive him? No. After you resign, you face the music. What is the music? You're probed. If you're found wanting, you're charged to court. The court will give a verdict. And you do the time. Like they always say in law, if you cannot do the time, don't do the crime. All right. On page 3, we can also see reps to probe FROS France MOU on tax administration. At a nationwide protest, NSC demand prosecution of financiers and end to insecurity in Nigeria. That was what happened yesterday with the Nigeria Labour Congress protest. On page 8, fourth line threaten constitutional reforms consensus as rep votes today. Again, court asks IGP to suspend tinted glass conspiracy policy rather. Again, court asks IGP to suspend tinted glass policy. You can find that on page 6 of The Guardian. Reps legalize BVAS e-transmission of results. Good one. Reps legalize BVAS e-transmission of results. You can find that on page 6 or page 5 of The Guardian. So I think with this, we'll not be having issues again with our election rigging here and there. We just hope so. Also below that on page 28, SGF suspend enforcement on alcoholic sachet PET bottles ban. Okay, this was supposed to take effect from 1st January 2026, but it has been suspended. Reasons best known to them. We'll discuss this on a good day. NDIC, why we revoked House sales contract with Senator Bunza, page 29. And finally, Nigeria, Central Europe launches new chamber to promote trade investment. You can find out on page 18 of a business page on The Guardian. All right, so that's all the sizes of the papers we have for you on the program TMI this morning. So grab a copy of any of the papers, read through, get enlightened, get informed, just know what is happening, especially with the whole back and forth between the NMDPRA boss, NUPROC boss, and the Dangote boss, Alhaji Aliko Dangote. So we'll take a break now. After the break, the conversation will continue on TMI. Stay with us and go nowhere.
ẹ̀dúwà ọba àtọ́pẹ́. ẹ̀dúwà ọba àtọ́pẹ́. ẹ̀dúwà ọba àtọ́pẹ́ yìí.
Omonoba Nedu Ukwakolopolo, Ewai II, Oba of Benin, stepped out majestically with loud crowd to perform the Sultan rites of his late mother, Queen Mother Ioba Omoni Ikoyeme, Ioba Ewai II, who departed this world 49 years ago. Isoton is a traditional rite of the procession in memory of the departed person's spirit in Benin Kingdom. It is usually heralded by public display of the departed person's influence during their sojourn on earth. The display of a human effigy symbolizing the departed royal matriarch was preceded by the Oba of Benin, who led the procession from his palace to the Immortan Shrine at King Square in Benin City, where he offered prayers for the repose of the soul of the Queen Mother, Ioba Ewai II. Thereafter, the priest assigned to the Immortal Shrine offered Oba Ewai II items for Isoton on behalf of his family. However, Chok, known as Uri, represented a mischance from royal fans after central spirits were invoked to bear witness and announce his arrival. On his way home, Oba Ewai paid tributes at various pilgrimage sites, including Queen Idia Tomb, the side Oba Markets, where a cheerful crowd of traders abandoned their wares to catch a glimpse of the royal personage and join in the celebration.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about...
what I said. So
that's...
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for ashwebi and something. You have to be
They
smart.
can't sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them over, dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremugebe.
TMI on the ITV network. While we're still trying to establish connection with the first public relations officer of Edo State Police Command before she joins us on the program. So much are happening actually. Well, my co-anchors, my colleagues in Abuja and in Lagos, we're going to talk about some of this basically. The allegation against the now, should we call him ousted? Okay, resigned CEO of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, the person of Farouk Ahmed, and also the NUPROC, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Benga Komolafe, which has been on the space after the chairman and the chief executive of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, came to allege that the NMDPRA's boss is living a flamboyant lifestyle. He's living a life that is bigger than what he earns as a public office holder. He alleged that he pays as high as $5 million for the children in secondary school, not in university now, schooling in Switzerland, which has also, you know, it has been a topic of discussion for days, and we've seen how that allegation that started, everything started on Saturday, yes, Saturday, Sunday, but between then till today, Thursday, everywhere has been awash, leading to his resignation, or their resignation yesterday. It seemed like people are not happy with, okay, resignation, good and fine. Should you just resign and after resignation, everything ends there? Or resign, you are probed, if you're found guilty, you face the music. Let me have the thought of my colleagues in Lagos and in Abuja before we'll continue delving in more on the show. Joshua, I know we've been aware of what has been happening. Let me begin with you. I started with Charity earlier, so let me, I'm not trying to be gender biased though. You've been on the space with this issue as well. What's your take on this before I come to Charity? Okay, I don't know. Joshua, it's like we're having some issue. Okay, let's hear from you, Charity, before we go.
Can you hear me now?
Having some challenges with hearing.
All right,
Josh. Charity.
Okay, Lawrence. Well, a lot has been happening. You asked if should they just resign and just go their way. Well, it seems this is the situation that we find ourselves. But we all know that ideally, what should have been done is that before, yes, resignation is okay, it's commendable. But I want to also believe that since the matter is already before the ICPC, it is already under investigation, that in due course, the law will be enforced on this matter, pending on the outcome of the investigation. And I do not forget that over time, Dangote has been calling out these people for being responsible for whatever sabotage that has been happening concerning his refinery. They have had this talk of war going on since the time Dangote decided to have his own refinery in the country and start selling fuel to Nigeria. So they've had this talk of war with this personal people from the NNPCL, the former GMD of the NNPCL, Mele Kyari, and this people, Mr. Komolapi and Mr. Ahmed. This is something that has been going on. And for Dangote to come out and emphatically lay this accusation, that means there is a substance of truth in it. And even before the resignation was announced, these people were summoned to the presidential villa. It was after their meeting with President Bola Tinubu and his cabinet and with President Bola Tinubu that the resignation was announced. So even at that, there are Nigerians who actually believed that this resignation did not come willingly, that they were forced to resign. Regardless of how it comes, my own opinion is that Nigerians will be waiting to see what will follow. What will investigation unearth? What will the investigation tell Nigerians? And after the investigation, what will follow suit? $5 million is a huge amount of money for a civil servant or public office holder to spend on children's secondary education away from Nigeria. And this is one of the major issues that Nigerians have been talking about, that because public office holders have the money to take their children abroad for education, that is why nobody is paying quality attention to the nation's education sector. So we wait and see how the drama unfolds.
Wait and see how the drama unfolds. That's the truth, Charity. But Joshua, your take, because this has been an issue on the public domain for the past, going to 1 week now.
Well, for me, I have really nothing to say, and I must be very honest with you, because President Donald Trump called Nigeria a disgrace country, and that didn't just happen by chance. It never happened by accident. You know, there are reasons why a president of a country as big would call Nigeria a disgrace country. Don't forget, this is not the first time we're hearing policyholders spending way above their earnings. We heard about the case of Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello, who was said to have paid in advance fees of his children for 10 years from the government account. What happened thereafter? Even the EFCC chairman, who vowed that he's going to see through that investigation, and if he doesn't get Yahaya Bello prosecuted, he will resign office. Even start with the chairman of the EFCC. What has happened about that case? Has he resigned? What has happened to Yahaya Bello, who was accused of using government, money, which are of course taxpayers' money, to fund the school fees of his children? What happened to him? In fact, sources say that just recently, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, recently wished Yahaya Bello, a birthday greeting. So what would you say about that? Yahaya Bello, by virtue of that, is walking around free. Nothing has happened to him. And now Charity is saying that Nigerians hope to see what will come out of it. It's quite unfortunate, and I'm here to say that I doubt if anything would be. Of course, the young man has resigned, quite all right. He has actually resigned. But as we stand, we are yet to see investigations that will ensue following his resignation. Given what I've said earlier, I doubt if anything will come out of that investigation, because this is Nigeria for you.
Okay, let's not be optimistic, pessimistic, Joshua. Let's be optimistic that something will come out of the investigation. I'm a very positive person. So let's be hopeful that something will come out of the investigation, because like you both have said, this is really, really troubling. Let's not go to the whole Yahaya Bello's issue. Ola Olukoyede is still the chairman of the EFCC. He has not resigned. He's still there. So Nigeria, a lot happens. But come on, we are not the court. We are not the final arbiter. We'll leave it for the courts to decide whether they are found guilty, whether they should do the time after doing the crime, or the court should even decide whether they did the crime first before they will now be asked to do the time. But like you said, this is Nigeria. But really, it's troubling that a public office holder spends such amount of money and a secondary school children, $5 million. Wow. It brings to question, really, like Charity said, if they do all of this, our educational system, that's the reason why nobody cares about it. Our universities are there, no infrastructure. Today ASU is on strike, tomorrow ASU is on strike, the other day, meanwhile their children are enjoying abroad. Nigeria is indeed a living conversation, a never-ending topic. We keep talking about it on a daily basis. But like we said, let's look forward to see what happened next, the probe, who probed them, what happens, and at the end of the day, we just hope this is not going to be another case of, oh, you were alleged to have done this. Once you resign, your case closed. We'll continue to watch, we'll monitor all of this situation as everything unfolds on the political space, because for the both of them to resign, it means, and immediately the president has also already shuttled for their replacement. Their name, Eyeson and Mohammed, one for NUPROC, one for LMDPROA. They're already out to be sent to the Senate for screening and confirmation. So it shows that let's give the presidency an evidence or out of doubt to see what they can do differently, so that it wouldn't be a case of, oh, this is how it has been happening all the while before now. All right, so we'll take a break. The conversation continues on TMI in our Abuja Network Center. Stay with us on the program.
àjúwà ọba àtọpẹ́. ẹgbẹ́ àjúwà ọba àtọpẹ́. Ẹgbẹ́júwà ọba àtọpẹ́ yìí.
ITV, certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about.
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot. You cannot breathe.
Oh,
And
wow.
these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
Thank you for staying with us. This is the ITV Network Center, and this is This Morning on ITV. The discussion from the Abuja Network Center is going to be centered on the Nigeria Labour Congress protest, which did not hold yesterday, even though there were pockets of protests across the country. Abuja held for about 20 minutes. There was in Ogun State, but Sokoto suspended its own strike. And this is because there was a meeting between the labor leaders and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the villa on Tuesday night. And after all the promises, according to the national president of the NLC, Joe Ajero, he said the president promised that he is going to do everything possible to tackle the issues brought before the presidency. And these issues include insecurity in the country, and they also talked about shrinking purchasing power of Nigerians, specifically Nigerian workers, and what they also describe as financial insecurity of Nigerians. And to discuss these matters with me in the studio, I have Comrade Agada Noah. He is a right activist. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now let's delve into the matter of the strike. When you learned that the Nigerian Labour Congress is about to embark on a nationwide strike on these issues, were you surprised?
I was never surprised of their strike action. You see, the tool of the labor to draw the attention of the government is mostly attached to striking, which is a major tool they use to draw the attention of the government. But where I have this deviation, and I think opportunity is bringing us to put it on the table, is that if in every situation the labor run to the last option of striking, I don't think it holds any value again, because whenever we hear NLC strike, we know it's now becoming a normal ritual that's supposed to be performed. But I think the best thing we should do, we know, yes, Nigeria, we are having a bunch of problems which needs government intervention, yes. But the labor should also be a thinking room for the government. The labor should be a thinking incubation center for the government. They should assemble think tanks. It should not be strike always. Let there be also a solution arm of the labor that is discussing with government on ways possible. Because, okay, there was supposed to be a strike, they were called to the villa. There was supposed to be a protest Wednesday, they were called to the villa on Thursday. The strike was cancelled.
They had a meeting on Tuesday night, and
the strike was suspended also on Wednesday. When there's another threat of strike now, won't there any importance again, because we believe a night to that time they'll still go to an indoor or closed door meeting and still tell the Nigerians that protest or strike is no longer holding.
So if I understand you correctly, are you saying that the labor leaders meeting with the president is politically inclined? Or?
No, I am not saying directly that it is politically inclined, but we should have the distinction between striking and meeting with president. If you are going to meet with the president on a courtesy visit, different from president on a plan and showing the protest a night to it.
It is called intervention.
The intervention,
the federal
yes.
government intervened.
Yes, but it should be when the strike is coming up and everybody on red alert that there is going to be a strike, and this, and later you say it's no longer holding. You know, it's devaluing the interest of the common Nigerians.
Okay, to be fair to Labour actually said that it has been that there has been a correspondence between the Labour and the presidency. But that the sad thing is that all these letters they have written to the presidency since June, that it did not get to the table of the president. And this is where saying that politics is involved.
We are not disputing the fact that Labour is not writing and Labour is not saying. But I think at this point, should also devise a means other than protest, other than striking, and come with a high-power think tank on what to do next. Because, okay, in June, or in August, there was an ASU strike. No, not in August. In September, there was an ASU strike. In 2 weeks, it was called up. say they met with the labor, and the labor met with the government, they said they will resolve it, and the strike was cancelled. Within that 2 weeks of striking, many things happened. And it affects the common persons. Because when you go on strike, when you go on, it affects the common person. So when you continue going on strike, going on protest, and at the end you say government promised, not that they have done, and you come back, that means it's now becoming a ceremony of futility.
Okay, now let's take a look at the Nigerian political system. Is it politically correct at the point of election, during electioneering campaign, people under various parties will come up to tell Nigerians, if you elect us, make sure we end strike, protest, anything strike in whatever sector will not happen, but yet this keeps happening. So should Nigerians continue to listen to politicians when they say that?
You know, those who do not drive knows how to direct the driver more than the person on the steering. When it comes to political time, Nigerian politicians understand the emotions of Nigeria, so they try to weaponize us with our emotions and what we want to hear. Because I don't think the issue of strike, fair enough to this current government, they've tried in several ways to, if not totally eradicate, ameliorate strike, especially in the educational sector. So I think when politicians come during political season to promise good Nigerians like us that they'll end strike, I think they are using our weaknesses to weaponize us. So I don't think that's a tool Nigerians should hold on to. But you know, the emotions of a common man is high, so they stick to what people tell them and not what is happening in reality.
Looking at in the next, let me just say 1 year and some months, we are going to be having another general election. Now, what should Nigerians be doing between now and that time to ensure that this time around their votes count and they vote in people who really deliver on their promises, as well as holding them accountable?
Well, when we come to general elections and I hear this word, let our votes count, I think it is mostly of the dream part. Because when votes does not count, how do we have the results we have? So I don't think the votes counting or electoral transparency and so on is in the electoral empire, which is it is the citizens who are supposed to hold INEC responsible for accountability, transparency, fairness, and credibility. But when you come out and it does not count, I vote, so my vote counts from my polling unit. So how do we really say vote does not count? You see, when people are heading for failure, they start making excuse time.
Okay, are you saying, when you say when people are heading for failures, are you referring to opposition parties?
Well, maybe let me draw from your words.
Don't draw from my words.
Let me draw from your words, because when it's only common when opposition lose, they say our votes don't count. But when they win, they say there's credibility and fairness. So you see, every politician, every political party have these two words on the side of the coin, where they praise and reject when in favor and not in favor. So to me, now, votes, we are praying for votes to count. Now it is time for voters registration. Are people registering? Is it the fault of INEC if people do not register? So I think these are also what Nigerians should deviate from. We should be accountable to ourselves first before we start holding political parties to that the vote did not count, they rigged the election. No, it is where people are that they rig election. It is when people vote that they manipulate. So are we even voting? Are we responsible to ourselves? Are we holding the sole persons accountable? So that's my point on that.
In all sincerity, would you say there is policy on the part of governments to end strike in Nigeria? Like, there will be a time Nigerians will just wake up, will say for a whole year, no sector is planning or has gone on strike?
Yeah, I have this very strong belief. You see, when we talk of government, it is human beings that run the government.
Exactly.
Government is not spiritual. Like in the educational sector, the last ASU strike we had was in 2022, was it 2021, 2022, before the current government. To say no, the ASU must. So it is a give and take scenario that everybody needs to enjoy the benefit of association and governance.
But what would happen if government decides to clear all these problems? For instance, what Nigerian workers are demanding now, they are saying there's worsening insecurity, financial security for workers, even though we know that this present administration increased the minimum wage to 70,000 naira. But you and I know that 70,000 naira cannot take anybody home. Nowhere in this country that anybody can live averagely on 70,000 naira salary. What will happen if the government decide that let every citizen live a little bit above poverty? Is it doable? Is it possible?
It's possible, and that's why I started my conversation on the aspect of the labor. That labor should deviate from having a protest agenda or a striking agenda and form up a critical think tank arm that they can sit down and look for ways possible. You see, the striking or protest issue is a long time tool where labor union used to use right from time immemorial, and it is like fading off because most persons in government now one time or the other are being in the union, so they understand how it runs.
They understand the MO,
yes,
the
so
modus operandi.
When we deviate from the usual, and the union, maybe at this time of the administration, sit to say, okay, let us have a think tank. Let us bring the problem to the government and also come along with the solution side by side and discuss it. I think it will solve most problems.
But you are aware that
breed another ground.
But you are also aware that Labour actually brought the solution when Labour was discussing the minimum wage, where Labour was insisting that Nigerians should be paid 625,000 naira as minimum wage. Was that not the solution?
Is there consistency?
That was the solution.
Was there consistency?
Is it Labour's fault that
whatever
it
you
didn't
are
get
fighting
through?
for as a unionist, you should have consistency. Not today you bring it up, tomorrow you rest, tomorrow you bring it up when the need arises. No. The government, you should know that the government and the labor union is just like a business, and it's a business entity. The government is the employer, the labor is the employee, and every employer wants to maximize profits against the detriment of their employee. So I think consistency is also a major matter in agitation. Not because we say it, we go on strike, we come back, we say we relax, we'll do that. No. Even if it will take 10 years, even if it will take, no matter the number of years it should be, you should have a way to devise it. Okay, why can't the labor look for a way to make it a part of the constitution if it is possible? That, okay, the increment, the salary of workers within the nation should be increased per every 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
It's already there.
In the constitution?
Yeah, it's already there.
It's
already there.
Are they using it? Why are they not exploring the aspect of the constitution?
They have explored all that avenue.
Why are they unionists?
That's what we're here to discuss.
Why are they unionists? So, you see, we should breed other grounds. That's the essence of what I'm saying.
Okay, finally, before I let you go, what will be your advice to government, honestly, as regards to what labor is demanding? Because the protest did not hold yesterday as it should. But that does not mean that it will not hold should government fail to do what it promised to do.
Well, I think the protest is not holding again, so we should just say it has gone like that. But for to advise the government, I think insecurity is a general concern for us, because the insecurity around is not making anybody comfortable. It's a general concern. We believe the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, is trying to put everything in place, addressing security lapses, rearranging infrastructures, and we'll still keep on encouraging him or challenging him to do better, because we look up to him as the man at the helm of affairs. And we also call on every million Nigerians to take this issue of insecurity as a priority. The blame games are too much. The government should live up to expectation. We should stop blaming sponsors and this. If we know they are sponsors, then why don't we go for the sponsors? If we know there are those who are masterminding the insecurity, why don't we go for them? Too much theories without practical is we're heading for failure. So I believe the government should be more practicality than theoretical.
Thank you very much, Comrade Agada Noah. We have been discussing labor protests and matters arising. Thank you very much for being part of the program.
Thank you so much.
Well, Nigerians, there you have it. Too much theory. I believe that government officials are watching this program and you have heard it. Let's start practicalizing all those things we have been putting on paper, we've been talking about. Nigerians do not want to go through another nationwide protest that will mean that everything they are doing would be put on hold. Nigerians have suffered enough, and they are suffering too much for them to pass through that. So we are hopeful that whatever conversation, whatever decisions was arrived at between government and labor, that Nigerians will begin to see it into action. At this point, I'll hand you over to our Lagos Network Center, where this conversation, TMI, will continue.
Many thanks for staying with us, and of course, if you're just tuning in, this is the continuation of your ultimate news and current affairs program, reaching you live from our Lagos Network Center on the ITV network. I am Joshua Okata. On the program this morning, our focus will be on Kwara terror attacks and controversy with respect to an arrest recently made on a Miyetti Allah member with an NSA-issued rifle. Of course, interestingly, this arrest has actually heightened serious security concern and trust erosion towards the security agencies with respect to arms being issued, to non-state actors, and of course roles assigned to them as regards issues on security operation within the state. Some Nigerians are asking, who at the NSA actually issued such rifle to a Miyetti Allah member? Who actually saddled with the responsibility of training these individuals and licensing or certifying them to allow them wield arms on the street freely, unprovoked? Also, who regulates the activities of these individuals in order to curb abuse? And if the state has actually handed its security affairs to non-state actors, who actually handles the security condition? The federal, especially at the federal level. These and many more will be the questions we'll be analyzing this morning from our Lagos Network Center, and of course looking at the global outlook of Nigeria. Joining us to have this conversation this morning is Mr. Elvis Elimeheli. He is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Josh. Compliments of the season.
Thank you very much. Now, let's look at this issue. Nigeria has a population that is projected to hit approximately 237.5 million by the end of this year, 2025. And also putting side by side the declaration of a nationwide security emergency and the directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu calling for more recruitment of security personnel. I mean, having an addition of 20,000 security men on board. How does this news of a non-state actor, I mean, a Mieti Allah member, having a rifle issued to him by the NSA, how were you greeted by this news?
It's so frustrating, Josh, because that is the biggest, highest office in security apparatus in this nation.
Say that again.
Yes, the highest office in terms of security apparatus of in this nation. It's the office of the National Security Advisor to. I don't know how we look at it in this part of the world, but I know in America, that's an office you don't joke with. That's an office that if Trump don't move, he will not move. But here we play down so many things that such an important office is alleged to have issued a rifle to a non-state actor for a country that is so volatile with insecurity for some years, now about 16 years. So, I mean, who now regulates even the ones that are already in circulation that people are saying, how did they get into hands of miscreants and terrorists? Who regulates it? If we are now saying this, it's a question. Because I expected that Nuhu Ribadu, the NSA, should know more about, more than this. He's been there, and he's been in the system, and we've seen that all the efforts he has made lately to see how this insecurity can be curbed. Even his recent visit, that's even have also exposed him to his office, me, in some other client, to their government. So now coming out to see that rifles are sophisticated at AK-47. These are not
hunter guns.
These are not hunter guns. Then in the hands of miscreants, for state that by the time some are being released today, tomorrow others are picked again, in the same manner. Oh, they've just released some. Then the next thing we hear, another group of people have been adopted. I think the office of the NSA should come out, openly and with a lot of pride and with integrity to Nigeria in detail how this arm got into the hands of this
Is it entirely impossible to unmask whoever at the NSA issued this rifle? Because we are not if we don't have guns who are already wielding these guns. But the point, is it entirely impossible to unmask whoever at the NSA that actually issued this rifle?
No, it's not impossible. Because people work in NSA, people work there, and these people have data. And at least the office must know the number of staff. And every department in that office is headed by somebody. And every department has a role that is assigned to it. Who are these departments doing this within the NSA? And mind you, Josh, that's another issue that I'm afraid of. If you cannot find arms in the hands of people who are not supposed to carry arms, then the recruitment we are talking about, how is the federal government going to make sure that the recruited individuals are not part of these people that are already terrorizing us? Have you thought of that? That's another big question and another big issue the Office of the National Security Advisor should look into. This recruitment must not be thrown open to miscreants. It must not be thrown open to people who will now become another threat to Nigerians' life. Because what we are already seeing is that we are already seeing that even the armed forces is already infiltrated. So by the time you are talking of about 20,000 coming in, and these 20,000, they are not properly verified who they are. Especially when you now tell, you know how it's done in this part of the world. They tell you, politicians are going to start, issuing these things now to politicians to, okay, bring 10 from your constituency and all that. You know, when politicians in Nigeria are doing this kind of a thing, they are going to bring from their ragtag boys who assist them in hijacking ballot boxes during elections. These are boys already, even without that authority, they are already terrorizing Nigerians and already becoming an issue to Nigeria election. Then now that they are going to be licensed and giving arms and giving uniform under the toga of protecting Nigeria, because we are desperately looking for 20,000. So we have to be very careful. What we're already seeing now is we're already afraid that arms are being found of people that are not supposed to carry arms. Then now the government is saying recruit more. Don't give this recruitment to politicians. Don't begin to use it to pacify them. Like we've been seeing, when you are talking of bringing in people into the armed forces now, whether ND or whatever, you see politicians having slot. That slot must not be, this one must not be handled by politicians, because we are going to see more of this if the slots are given to them to bring in their thugs.
Now, you talked earlier about the office of the NSA being a very, very lofty office.
Yes.
Given the public outlook, especially on a global scale. Now, does it justify the statement made by President Donald Trump the other day when he said Nigeria is now a disgraced country? How does this, stay side by side with having non-state actors now having rifles issued to them by such lofty office?
That's what I was telling, that's what I just said now, that at least in the US, he saw how respected that office is. And now, Donald Trump and Americans that have been monitoring the situation that is going on in Nigeria will not hear that an office of the NSA, who has just left the country talking of how to secure Nigeria, that his office is alleged to have started issuing arms to non-state, they will respect us. Those are some of the things. By the time you don't respect yourself, respect is earned. You don't grab it, you earn it. By the time you don't give yourself that respect, nobody will also give it to you. You lose it. In the Committee of Nations now, we just started losing our respect because Nigeria cannot do what it's supposed to do for its citizens. The welfare and security of the citizens is a constitutional pronouncement that every government owns the citizens. We cannot do it. Another country is now reminding us that we have insecurity in our country. Then we were playing down, he saying it was just mere herders and farmers clash. Today, we have seen beyond that. We've seen videos. Even these videos in the archives, they are playing it to us, and it's staring us on our faces. And we can no longer defend it. We are now seeking help. And in the process of seeking help, we are seeing all this alleged matter now. Arms are now being found in the hands of people that are not supposed to carry arms. How do you expect them to respect us? How do you even expect them to evidence that when they come around, to be secured and safe to work with us? It's an issue, George.
Now, what is the place of the governor of that state? We understand that security at the level is a federal thing because, of course, no government that power to control the security forces within the state. But of course, where is the governor's place in this?
That's what we should be asking the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. If he can suspend a state governor just because of political turmoil between him, the governor, and his godfather, then some of these states that we saw now that the governors are just like toothless bulldog, cannot do anything. The commander-in-chief is supposed to have talk of even suspending such governor so that we can put more boots on ground in such state and be able to secure the citizens of the state. Because these governors are looking helpless. By the time they will tell you, oh, they are not in charge, that Abuja is in control. That's why they cannot do anything, that we are looking for state police. Even when they get this state police, with this one that arms are already infiltrated into the hands of people that are not supposed to carry arms, do you know what it means? That means you and I cannot even close our eyes, sleep with our two eyes closed, because most of these arms are going to be in the hands of politicians who are going to arm their boys. That's an issue. So I expect the commander-in-chief, the president, call the governor and even talk of this state of emergency that has been reigning for some time in Nigeria now. Let him even think of suspending such governor so that a matter of this nature, because this matter is no longer within Nigeria alone now. We are talking of even the American, the Western ally, talking of how to assist Nigeria to fight insecurity. If now the governor cannot adequately account for where these arms are coming, and this is his state, at least he gives report every day or every week. Kwara State report is sent to Office of the National Security Advisor for analysis. And every analysis that is done there gets to the table of the president. The president ought to call the governor for questioning.
All right, now what's your take on this? According to sources, a person by name Informant 247, who is Ibrahim Abdul Latif, a senior special assistant on communication to the Kwara State governor, confirmed that the arrested individuals were members of Miyetti Allah who were incorporated into joint task force style arrangement following the September 9 attacks in the local government. So what's your take as regards this?
That's a government official, confirming it. Yes. That's why the government, the governor and his security aides and his special aides that made mention of this,
yes,
should be asked to come and give details of this before the NSA's office in Abuja. Who are those that collaborated with them to form this organization? We saw Bodejo, the Mieti Allah, some time ago when he came up with some militia, and the federal government said no, it must not fly. Remember, the militia he came up in Nasarawa State, they said no, this must not fly. Who are those people behind the boldness of Allah in Nigeria? This is supposed to just be an ordinary pressure group or whatever, but we see that they are going beyond the limit of their organization. Yeah. Who is embodying them? Who are those people behind them? These are questions that must be asked. So that aides who gave these details must be brought to ask questions. Office of the National Security Advisor must not just come and deny. Ordinary denial will not help Nigerians in this. We have to see investigation. We have to see people, paying for this. Deterrent must be served. Because we have played down on some of these things for so long. That's why we allow this insecurity to fester to this extent. Now that this insecurity in Nigeria is no longer in the hands of Nigeria alone, Nigeria must play that seriousness in assisting whoever wants to come and assist us to get to the root of this matter.
All right. Now, I understand you're not a security expert in this, because my next question now would be, in as much as it is allowed by what we're just reading now, that collaboration is required, especially to boost the operation of security issues within the state. I'm talking about Kwara South. Yeah. Now, is it something that should be made public for people to understand that, yes, we're going to be engaging the services of so and so association to come in to really rally support for the security measures that we have in place? Is this something that should be made public? Is security issues or security measures or strategies something that should be made public so that people are aware that certain individuals or group are being incorporated to collaborate? Is this something that should be public?
Josh, when the state with vigilante group, was it not made public? It was made public. Almost all the states in Nigeria have their vigilante group. So it's saying all from that, these people must be sensitized. But when it is coming through that's why this one become an issue now, because nobody is aware of this on court. The job of the vigilante group was made public. Even it is an act of law in most of the say we need it. How did this one sneak in that the indigenous of the states are not aware, and they have now become terrorists to the states? That's this one become a big question. Security is not supposed to be divulged, so much in the public, but not when you are trying to tell the people, oh, the new guys you are going to be seeing are part of people that are helping us to secure.
Much more wedding, very
not the state of wedding such an arm, because that nobody is licensed to carry such an arm in this nation. You can carry a lower than that, not carrying AK-47, and they are mentioning names that they were giving to a guy in Abuja. Oga, which office is this Oga? It's responsibility. How did this group come about? Who are those ones who are financing it? The local government that gave them a patrol vehicle.
Meant that even at a point in time, they have
they said the car was not found. Yes. This local chairman that gave this car do the briefing. What was behind it? I said, okay, give these people car through. Who gave you that order?
That's what I'm asking. Is the government supposed to come in to explain?
100%, because the governor is at the top, and like a spiral, every other person beneath him takes order, and they report to him. All a man can vehicle amount of money is made, and that vehicle is mean that it is every other logistics that follow you. You have to make public, so that the people you want to protect will say, okay, oh, this is the one the governor will say, this is part of them. So that when they even have issues, they can report to them, this is what we are observing and this is what we have. Not them sneaking in, nobody is aware. Until when they are caught, we are now hearing some of this information. So there's something behind this mission.
Now talk to us about the issue of assuming that it was actually, a state-sponsored thing. Who actually is saddled with responsibility of training these persons? Because obviously they need to be trained. Their activities need to be properly regulated to curb abuse. Do you think there's any training or regulatory agencies that are saddled with this responsibility of making sure that their activities is being monitored?
Legitimate one.
Legitimate.
Oh no, the legitimate one is supposed to be like issue from the Office of the National Security Advisor. And let's even this one, if it is legitimate, it's not even supposed to be Kwara alone. Most of the states that are having these issues, most of the states that are having insecurity, it's okay. This is our new arrangement in line, in support of vigilante to all the states. We never heard that. That's supposed to have been issued by the Office of the National Security Advisor. This is an additional reinforcement, to curb the insecurity, in addition to the vigilante and the other security men you have in the state. Nothing of that nature happened, which means what happened here is an illegitimate thing. So whoever is behind it, those same financiers that we have been talking about, those same Nigerians that we have, the Nigerian government is not bold enough to mention their names, are part of these people that have brought this into light in Kwara State.
Now, the office of the NSA has been dragged in this kind of ugly situation. What do you think by Nigerians if the NSA boss refuses to come out to clarify this issue?
No, Nigeria must ask for clarification. If it's not coming out, because that office is too sensitive for matters of this nature, to not demean the toga of that office. If it's not coming out and this is actually investigated, the NSA should take a bow and leave that office so that somebody that can tell Nigerians that adequately I'm here to have to take
so
that.
Is it just a situation of take a bow and leave?
No, and it should be prosecuted, because we are talking of arms.
Can it be can prosecution ensue within its rank? Is it possible?
It's possible. It's possible.
How?
It was appointed by somebody, and that same person, if that confidence is no more there.
Is it by virtue of his appointment, not a recommendation of the president?
The president appointed him. Whether the recommendation is coming from the president, everything about his documentation gets to the office of the president. And if the people now lost that confidence in that kind of the person that is so big office, the president has to do the bidding of the people. Because if the president sincerely wants Nigerians to be secured, he has to have people that are genuinely in that same mind with him, that we want to curb this insecurity. Not when some other people are fueling it at the back and the president is only drawing a fruitless effort somewhere else. It will not work. And that will also discourage the international community that are even wanting to come and assist us now. You know that what that matters. We heard a story some time ago that if the Chibok girls were, the American government offered to assist Nigeria. But when they came in and said, okay, we'll come in with gas and sprayed up the place, before we knew what was happening, the Boko Haram who adopted these girls were already wearing that gas mask. So when they came back, they went back and said, no, we can't do this. Somebody leaked it to it, which means there are moles in most of these offices. That's what the commander-in-chief, the president and the commander-in-chief should be looking at. Who are those ones that are throwing wheels, spanners in the wheels of this progress of this insecurity I want to fight?
We understand that insecurity issue is something that is cutting across various states in the Federation, not just...
Yeah, no.
But in a situation where in Kwara South, as we speak, though we are yet to unravel how the NSA got involved in this, but what is your take as regards a state as big as handing over to non-state actors?
It's the failure of the government.
At the subnational level? Or
subnational and even at the national. Because the subnational will tell you that they don't actually have so much in talking of security, that the command comes from Abuja. That's why the Abuja must, at the national level, must be able to explain to the people in Kwara State and Nigeria this came about. The national failed, and the subnational could not even report what was going on in the state if it is illegal to the people, and cry out to the national. I don't know how these people came in, where are they coming from? So for them to have been part of, say, buying a vehicle for them, it means they know where these people are from. So they are also culpable in this matter. So both the subnational have failed the people of Kwara. If this that we read is actually true, that these guys are carrying arms, and they can tell the world that these arms comes from the Office of the National Security Advisor.
So who then mans the security situation at the federal level? If at the state level in Kwara now, it's in the hands of non-state actors.
Who mans at the federal level?
Yes.
The federal level is supposed to be the Office of the National Security Advisor. But we are happy now that we have a defense minister who also knows so much about this issue of criminality. He's been there and he's brought back to the system. So now is the defense minister. This matter ought not to just end at the level of Office of the National Security Advisor. The Defense Ministry should also look at it, because we are talking of insecurity, and we are talking of how to curb it. It's a chain, and we must draw it from the beginning to the end so that we can get to the end of this matter. Not some of them who know acting or pretending to be part of it, and they are not doing what expected to do. That chain will not work. The strength we lose at a time, and we'll have this infraction like what we're having in Kwara State now. So those moles who are within the rank, that are making it not to get, have the desired effect it's supposed to have, should be flushed out, should be brought out and flushed out.
Talking about trust erosion, what's your take as regards issues of this nature coming from the office of the NSA?
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Emobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
Yari, yari, Ọba Tope!
Other international communities are beginning to be interested in how we deal with this issue. But of course, seeing the kind of appointment the president made recently about his ambassadors,
list.
Yes, kind of personality were paraded in that list. Do you actually think that if certain persons pick up the panelists that will investigate this matter, something positive will come out of it?
That's just Nigeria way of life, Josh. It is Nigeria way. You know.
So you're neither here nor there.
What you're saying. I know where you are coming from, but I'm looking at the ambassadorial list not as tough as insecurity. You understand? Because
why I ask that question is because we understand how dead the Nigerian security situation is.
Yeah.
And now putting those who are going to market your country in a sport where Nigerians try to take their personalities, the antecedents where they're coming from, and you expect anything good to come out. It's side by side with what I just asked you. If a new Ribado is actually going a fair day, perhaps in court, to be investigated, do you actually think that something will come out of it?
Yes, something will come out now. Before now, we may not have had it way. The insecurity situation is no longer being discussed by us alone. It is nice of even more civilized world, and so many want to assist us. So if the president want to be sincere to Nigerians and the people we are calling out that we want to collaborate with, matter of this nature must not be spared. There's going to be genuinity in it if is brought to book, because even as we're discussing it here, it's of course elsewhere in the world. know too well that even this matter, so many other persons would have also been pinching this for the office of the National Advisor by now. I'm not talking of within Nigeria alone, external, I will also be mentioning it. So the president must not afford to disappoint those whom he has called that we are going to collaborate with you. So if he appears in court, the court must do the needful.
What do you think this looks like from a global look about having a country over its security affairs to non-state actors?
Boils down to what Donald Trump has called us. Disgraced nation. Disgraced nation. Because it knows that you are a father, you cannot take care of your children. It's just it's a failure of the system.
Is that enough to call for the president's resignation?
It's enough. It's enough because it is a matter. Welfare and security of the citizen is spelled out in the Constitution. And you see, most of these countries where you see president resigning or protests coming up and the president eventually give way, it's just because of this. We just saw what happened in Bulgaria just a week ago. We've seen what has been happening in some of these countries. It's just because that here, when we call for such thing, we trivialize it. We now bring ethnicity and religion. They've taken us for a ride. The people have actually sold themselves out to the hands of politicians.
That brings me to my next question. Take as regards the recent statement made by Bishop Coker, who said he's sorry. What's your take as regards that?
When Bishop Coker was actually painting this genocide somewhere else, but he has retraced his footsteps. But absolute way he can, because words are so fragile. If it comes out, it's already public. Retrieve it, it's too late. It can never get back his reputation, because if he's saying this is what happened in Nigeria, PFN is saying this is what happened in Nigeria, and somebody like himself who has even been championing this cause over the years. He is from Sata Kaduna. He knows what has happened to Sata Kaduna. I remember how when the only governor that has ever come from Sata Kaduna, Patrick, died in a shilling cry. I know how. Then those one so well to this. Things are not. We didn't know what helicopter that left that kid because that's so at the end, and this from him. No word, not even Nigeria, that he was to play down.
The man said it's a he take it.
Well, I think he is even bigger than that.
Really?
Yes, because he has had that internal reputation that whatever appointment he's giving, he should not be looking at appointment given in Nigeria. He should be looking at the world place in.
Finally, what's what?
This matter must not be swept under the carpet, because if we are genuinely talking of fight security in Nigeria, we must be seeing that we must in all ranks to make sure that matters of this nation are played down at. And then everybody that is involved, we want to see them brought to book, and we want to see them, answering for this question that we are asking. Did this arm get into the hands of ragtime when we are talking of how to even remove arms? Proliferation from the society that are being used to terrorize Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Mr. El.
It's a blessed day. Thank you.
Well, that was Mr. Elimeheri. He is a public affairs analyst. His perspective on this to unravel what the outcome of this election would be like. That will be our wrap-up on the program this morning from our Lagos Network. Thanks for watching, and of course it's about time we move you over to our Benin Network studio for the rest of the program. To stay.
the man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about.
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be?
A very beautiful morning to you, and thank you for joining us on the news updates on ITV. I am Lawrence Osifo. We'll begin in Government House, where the Edo State government says that the Senator Monday Okpebholo's led administration remains committed to investment-driven and people-oriented development programs in the state. The State Deputy Governor, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, stated this during a land intervention meeting held at the Government House in Benin City. Deborah Ogbefu has more.
The interface convened at the instance of Edo State government brought together investors in oil palm production, including Nimbe Shaw Limited, Professional Support Farms Limited, and Steve Integrated Limited, as well as representatives of the host communities in Ovia Northeast and Ovia Southwest local government areas. The meeting, held at the Festival Hall, Government House, Benin City, focused on discussions surrounding the allocation of thousands of hectares of government forest reserves to investors by previous administration in a bid to create a win-win situation for both the investors and host communities. The Deputy Governor, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, presided over the intervention meeting aimed at profiling solutions that will encourage investment without undermining the livelihood of the agrarian communities.
We want to know what the community intends to benefit and also the percentage of offer we're wanting to know, because if the offer that they are giving to the community is not enough for the community to farm, then the issue of insecurity will go up again.
Some representatives of the investors in their response proposed a 10% buffer for the communities.
You spoke internally of Your Excellency, we are able to process.
Here we are happy that this is going on, and we believe that with your intervention that will be sorted out.
The secretary to the state government, Barrister Musa Ihilo, alongside the Alawure of Hussein Obaoluogbe, called on investors to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the host communities.
Also have been a lot of studies, needs assessment, relations with the community.
The community have to be carried along. Now I can see that the dialogue is going to be a positive dialogue.
We've been able to balance it, and I believe the community people are very happy, the investors are very happy, and the Edo State government, we are extremely happy.
In Benin, Deborah Ube from ITV News.
And in continuation of the rites of Igwe Festival, the Benin monarch, His Royal Majesty Omonoba Nedo Uku Akpolokpolo Oba Eware II, has performed the Utuigbo Oba rite in accordance with the long-age tradition of the Great Benin Kingdom. Efosa Uwangwe has the details.
Is a traditional rite that provides an opportunity for various categories of palace chiefs, functionaries, and guards to pay homage to the Oba and reaffirm their unalloyed allegiance to the throne. Importantly, the ancient rite also allows palace chiefs and other palace workers, according to their hierarchical order, to enjoy the benevolence of His Majesty through the presentation of kola nuts and other symbolic gifts as a gesture of appreciation for their years of commitment and loyalty. The ceremony featured colorful displays by different palace groups, including the Ifieto, known as the Palace Warriors, and the Ikpema, which are known as the Royal Drummers, to the delight and admiration of onlookers. The Ekoko Onute masquerade also performed traditional dances, while the Imiehe, the ancient royal praise singers, rendered spiritual chants in line with the custom of the rites. The ceremony attracted dignitaries from all walks of life. From Benin, Efosa Wangwe, ITV News.
The fatherly role in society of the Esama of Benin, His Excellency Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawari Igbenedion, has continued to attract people from all walks of life to the revered patriarchs, including churches. Among them are the choir and members of the St. Matthew's Anglican Church and Communion, Benin City, who visited the residents of the Esama to celebrate the Christmas season with him. Pius Nsogo filing the report.
Nothing short of merriment, reflecting the joy of God's redemptive work for humanity as celebrated at Christmas. Sonorous voices from the choir of St. Matthew's Anglican Communion alongside the women's group provided a fitting complement to the true essence of the season. The only Bible lesson taken from John chapter 1 verses 1 to 5 was read by the chaplain to the Bishop of the Anglican Communion, Diocese of Benin, Reverend Peace Osarekoe, while Reverend Osage Sylvester delivered a message centered on the significance of Christmas. Venerable Osage noted that it was at Christmas that God sought a way to redeem humanity back to himself after the fall of man in the Garden of Eden.
Many Christians observe this thing called Tarot of 9 lessons because a man had a vision. He saw something that we need to make the gospel more interesting to the people and brought this concept to where we are celebrating it.
A special prayer was also offered for the House of Igbenedion by a retinue of Anglican priests, including the Vicar of St. Matthew's, Venerable Ifada Idunyi, Venerable Vincent Owadia, and others. The choristers and the women's group continued with heartwarming Christmas songs as they savored the unique hospitality of the House of Igbenedion. The Patriarch and Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawari Igbenedion, expressed gratitude to the Bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Benin, Right Reverend Peter Imasuen, for permitting the choir to visit and felicitate with him during the Christmas season.
I am so happy. All your songs will render our Christmas. You are not modernizing your Christmas carol. I'm very grateful.
Dignitaries present at the House of Igbenedion for the evening included a former senator representing Edo South, Senator Roland Owe, Deacon Mike Ehima, a former chairman of Oredo local government area, and the managing director of Independent Television and Radio, Engineer Elvis Obaseki. From Benin, Pius Nsogo, ITV News.
And ahead of the 2025 edition of the ITV and Radio 9 Lessons and Carols, members of the planning committee has inspected the venue of Christ Chosen Church of God International along Airport Road in Benin City as part of preparations for the annual Christmas program. The inspection was conducted in collaboration with the officials of Christ Chosen Church of God International, who guided the committee through key sections of the auditorium and surrounding facilities and readiness for the highly anticipated event. Patience Osarugiwa has more.
The venue has been colorfully decorated with festive lighting, floral arrangements, and a well-coordinated stage set-up, creating a serene atmosphere in line with the spirit of Christmas. Security measures, seating arrangements, and technical installations have also been fully put in place to ensure safety, comfort, and seamless broadcast delivery. Following the inspection, the chairman of ITV and Radio, 9 Lessons and Carols, and Assistant General Manager, News and Current Affairs, Mr. Egosa Agbonlaho, together with committee member Pastor Lee Obasui, expressed satisfaction with the preparations so far.
Independent television and radio has earned enviable record in organizing top-notch 9 lessons and carols. On Thursday, invited choir, invited artists will thrill the congregation, and that will bring to remembrance the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ.
And I'm believing God that it's going to come out good. The choir administration and our various readers will be on ground too. And the Spirit of God will also be present to do great things.
In their remarks, the Secretary General of Christ Chosen Church of God International and Chairman of the Planning Committee, Apostle Jose Ikivi, the Head of Media, Apostle Joseph Akwere, and the GRA Divisional Head and Rector of Christ Disciples Seminary, Apostle Phyllis Eige, assured of their full support and readiness to host dignitaries, worshippers, and members of the public expected at the program.
Christ Chosen Church of God Special Mass Choir will also feature in this program with other 2 divisional choirs of this great church. It's going to be a very wonderful occasion.
We want people to come. When they come, they will experience something, the presence of God here tomorrow, because we are talking about the birth of Christ.
It's going to be wonderful. Great men in Benin will be here to come and say, Lord, thank you for giving us that special gift, Christ, that is embraced all over the world.
The ITV and Radio 9 Lessons and Carols is an annual event that celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ through scripture readings, hymns, and choral performances, promoting peace, unity, and goodwill during the Christmas season. The 2025 edition, slated for Thursday 18, promises to be colorful, spiritually lifting, and widely attended. From Benin, Patience Osaogiwa, ITV News.
And that's the size of our package on the news updates on ITV. Up next is TMI Socials with Chuku Fumunaya Adigwe. Good morning and thanks for viewing.
Good morning and welcome. This is TMI Socials. I am Chukufum Nanya Digwe, and here's what's making waves across the social media space. Now, we begin as President Tinubu replaces heads of Nigeria's key petroleum sector. Now, Engineer Farouk Ahmed and Benga Komolafe, both appointed in 2021, have stepped down from the NUPRC and NMDPRA. Tinubu nominated Orishe Meyiwa Eshea with 33 years at NNPC for NUPRC and Engineer Saidu Aliyu Mohammed, ex-managing director at a NNPC refinery, for NMPDRA. Now, Ahmed's exit followed Aliko Dangote's accusation of corruption and economic sabotage, which Ahmed denied. The ICPC will investigate. Industry observers link the changes to efforts to strengthen oversight in Nigeria's oil sector during refinery disputes and fuel supply issues. Now, something that is brought to the forefront when it comes to this issue of Engineer Farouk stepping down is the allegation by Dangote, Aliko Dangote, the head of Dangote Group, coming out to say that this particular sector head spent over $5 million in school fees for his children in a Swiss academy. Now, it took the social media space by storm, and let's just get a recap of that particular video of the allegations of Aliko Dangote, and then we'll take reactions as regards Tinubu replacing the heads of Nigeria's key petroleum agencies.
Of the economy, and I think it is something that when you look at it, I've had actually people making complaint about a regulator who has actually put his children in secondary school, and that secondary school education, which is 6 years, 4 of them cost Nigeria $5 million. I mean, you cannot imagine somebody paying $5 million for educating 5 children. Even my own children, they didn't go to those schools. My children went to Nigerian secondary school. They didn't go outside Nigeria to attend to secondary school. I don't know about your children, Tony, but mine, yes. So, and this is a system that, some of us, because what, we're taxpayers. When people are complaining, we also complain, because the issue is that, yes, when I pay tax, I want to see that my money is being put to use, not to be stolen. But today, as we speak, the S, I don't know what is the, that is...
Yes, that is the video of the allegations of the CEO of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, where he basically did say, how is this man spending so much on school fees for his children in a Swiss academy? Now, this followed the resignation of Ahmed Farouk. Now, let's get to see how the social media space is reacting as regards it. The first commenter says, Farouk and Benga Komolafe's resignation means nothing if they are not investigated and persecuted. Too many times we have seen this move. That's from Daniel Rega. Now let's get to see another comment. This commenter says, does Tinubu care about the corruption allegations leveled against Farouk by Dangote? No, he's only trying to save the face of an already deteriorated and ruined government full of corrupt minds. Who amongst them in this corrupt government didn't spend exorbitant amounts stolen from Nigeria to train their children overseas? Wike's 3 children all schooled in the UK with public resources stolen from Nigeria. while the education system in Nigeria remains in absolute shambles. What's Nyesom Wike's job, aside from being a politician, a lawyer that doesn't know how a courtroom looks like? Well, I would say Wike actually got a stray bullet on that comment. Let's see another comment. Now, this commenter says, I don't have an issue with what Dangote did here, but he should also not stop here, because there are hundreds of Farouk Ahmed in the government. Is he also going to call them out, and not just the person he has axe to grind with? That's another comment. Now, that's the end for that first story on the resignation of Ahmed Farouk and Benga Komolafe from key petroleum regulators there. Now, let's see the next story. The next story that we're looking at is Burkina Faso releasing Nigeria Air Force crew after a diplomatic visit. The crew made an emergency landing in Bobo Dioulasso due to a technical fault and paperwork issues with airspace entry. Now, Nigeria's Minister Yusuf Tuga met President Ibrahim Traoré in the country, expressing regrets and solidarity from President Bola Tinubu while praising Burkina Faso's counter-terrorism efforts. The amicable talks resolved the detention, highlighting Nigeria's focus on diplomacy and regional security ties amid West Africa's challenges. The personnel returned home Thursday with no further tensions. Now, this is something that it's been hot on the social media space, and it's also right in our faces. The detention of this air fleet by the Burkina Faso government. Thank God for diplomacy. They're released now, and let's see how the social media space is reacting. Well, this first comment says, this government finally learned that Big Brother status is enforced. It's earned through respect. Too late though, the damage is done. Nigeria's old school respect across Africa is long gone. Let's see another comment. This reaction says, what is this nonsense? Nigeria is sending a high-level delegation to apologize to those AES junta leaders in Burkina Faso as if we're some small country. It was an emergency landing due to a technical issue. No violation at all. We are the giant of Africa. Why are we bowing to these military rulers? Tinubu, please stand firm and stop this begging. This really pains me. Well, those are the comments as regards the release of the air fleet that was grounded by the Burkina Faso government. And now here's where we draw the curtain on TMI Socials today. Many thanks for joining in. Bye for now.
All right, amazing time it has been on the show this morning on your ultimate breakfast current affairs program. This morning on ITV, the one you call TMI on the ITV network. How, taking you around everything happening in the politics, Benga Komolafe and Ahmed of the NMDPRA and NUPROC. That's a talking point, but we'll look forward to see what happens in the next couple of days. All right, on behalf of my colleagues in Lagos and in Abuja, I want to thank you for investing your quality time with us on the show this morning. TMI comes back again next week, God willing. Up next is going to be a business rendezvous with yours sincerely. Stay with us and go nowhere. I'm Lawrence Osifo, signing out.